Hello, Cape Wanderers. It's me, Alexei, Lambley-Steel, and I'm joined today by
Gary Bettinson.
And we are with Jeff East, who played young Clark Kent in Superman the movie.
Indeed.
Hello, Jeff.
Gentlemen.
It's lovely to see you again.
Nice to see you.
Although we spent most of the day together. So.
Yes. On this lovely warm evening in the lovely
it is
UK.
very, very surreal because I think we've had virtually all the weathers today. We've had like downpours, overcrowding.
I feel like I'm in Miami Beach.
If only. I mean, I would have preferred something over
Yeah.
there.
Well,
If we'd have had the budget.
the
then
pool's
maybe.
right there. We can jump in.
Brilliant. So, like, how was the day in terms of, like, obviously,
Good.
come over to the UK to do a
Very,
con and meet the fans?
yeah, it was very, very friendly crowd. Fans of the movie.
Yep.
They were excited to see that I was in here, and they were like, "Wow, what are you doing here?" And I'm like, "I'm here for you guys." You know, I like coming to the UK because they have a lot of Superman fans, and the people here are generally friendly, and there are a lot of families,
Yeah.
and it's family oriented, and I dig it. I really dig.
But
I'm glad I came.
there's a whole lot of love for the Superman series in the UK. I mean, a lot of it was actually filmed over here.
Yes.
And obviously still in the States and Canada as well.
Correct.
But, you know, I think that's what ties us together, the fact that he is the hero of America, but it was filmed in the UK.
In the UK. By an incredible crew.
Yes.
The best film crew I ever worked with, bar none. And I worked some good ones.
Yeah.
And Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn, I worked with some really good film crews. I'm not taking that away from them. But when I worked on Superman, it was a completely different level. And you were asking a question earlier about the hazing.
Yes.
And I was doing the hazing. And your question was, what's it like to do a film like that? Do what I believe. Lois Lane just tried to interrupt the conversation here. Thank you, Lois.
So we understand that the original conception for young Clark Kent was actually two roles.
Yes.
One aged 15
Yes.
and one aged 18, but that changed when you arrived in England. So do you remember how that decision was made? Were you involved in the discussions?
Yeah, Donner sort of talked to Chris, and Chris talked to me, and I talked to Donner and Mankiewicz, that we thought that the 15-year-old Clark would really be around 18 at that time, even though there's supposed to be a period of 3 years. It's like, why? He's not going to change that much. But there was an identity crisis with it, because they thought, well, maybe he wouldn't know that his powers could do certain things, but he went through one tragedy after another, and they're like, well, let's just play him at 18. And that's what we did. Of course, they put a wig on me, they put a nose piece on me, looked like Chris. Chris worked with me every day. I got to know him, spent time with him and playing chess. I didn't know how to play chess. He taught me how to play chess. Of course, he won every time.
So did he actually teach you how to play chess?
Yes.
Or like...
I didn't understand it. Well, okay, that's a pawn. I got it. But and Chris was it was like a big brother, little brother type of relationship. And I'd already been in the movie business for 5 years at that time, and I'd already done like 6 films, and so I was not a white-eyed, naive guy, but I had an actor here who was his very first film, and he wanted to tell me what he wanted me to do. So I worked with him, and I was patient, and I thought, okay, I understand what you're saying. But once I got away from him and Donner started talking to me, it was a different perception. A different thing for me to assume. What Dick really wanted was the human Clark, and that's what I gave him. Just be yourself, Jeff. Just be yourself. Yes, you are Superman. You don't realize it yet, so just be Clark. And I kept that in the back of my mind the whole time I worked. And when we got on location in Alberta, it was easy because Glenn Ford, such a pro, Phyllis Thaxter, another pro. go to work and it was like, okay, 1, 2 takes, that's it, we're done. And everything came together with that crew, Jeffrey Unsworth's photography, Donner's direction. It was magic. And I could tell by how easy it was to do that it was going to turn out and look good, because it just came easy, it was natural. And when I look back at the film today, I still can't believe how easy it was to do, even though there was a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of creativity put into it at that point. I guess a lot of classic films just come off that way, and I bet you they were just as easy to do if you look back at the classics. But I'm telling you, you get good actors with good writing and good photography, you're going to have a good, interesting film.
So was it? Did Dick take you aside and said, "Look, we need to discuss your nose. We're not happy with it. Can we try something else?" Or
Donner never really talked to me about it. I was just sent straight to makeup, and I was like, "Well, what are you doing?" And Stuart Freeborn, this little British guy, goes, "Oh, we're going to change your nose." Really? You're going to change my nose? Yes, you look more like Chris. And then they started putting the wigs on me. They tested the wigs, and I said, "God, couldn't you have done this before I got the part?" "No, we decided we're just gonna do it anyway."
so let's see what happens.
So I'm 3 hours in makeup, an hour in hair, and they got it together, and they kept changing the wigs. And there was a 15-year-old wig and an 18-year-old wig, and that was kind of weird. That was another reason they decided, let's just go with the 18-year-old wig. And I spent a month doing the Fortress of Solitude's the interiors at Shepperton, April of '77. And then you can believe it took that long to shoot those sequences. And then I spent another 2 weeks on the exterior of the Fortress of Solitude at Pinewood. And it was always the 3-hour makeup job. It was always the wig. They dyed my hair. They tried to make me do it with my real hair, and because they were worried the wig would look not real, but it turned out to be good. It was a good wig.
And they weren't worried about the nose.
No. Except it's funny. We're out there doing the train sequence, and I get hit with a bag of dust out in the middle of location.
Yeah.
Not in the studio, not at the hotel where there's nice lighting.
Yeah.
I get hit in the face with a dust thing, and my nose has to be made up.
Yeah.
And if you see the film in big 70 millimeter, a big theater, it's blue when I'm walking up the road. And that's the reason. And that's a true story. And it's cinema history.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch that to see that part. I think I can. Like, there are certain scenes we can see it's ever so slightly not your
It's
skin
blue.
color.
It looks like I got punched in the face.
You said that you were instructed to play yourself.
Yes.
Yet you did undergo this kind of fairly drastic transformation with the wig and the nose. And
Yeah,
so,
I didn't feel like I was myself.
That's what I was going to ask.
I felt like I was Clark Kent. Only when I had that wig and the nose piece on and the costume, the outfit that I was wearing, I really felt part of the character. So that helped me. And it's funny too, I get asked a lot about the scenes with Glenn Ford. When I'm standing by the truck and the kids say, "How did you get here so fast?" And I say, "I ran." And then Ford says, "You've been showing off a bit, son." There's a hesitation there in the walk. And a lot of people go, "Wow, that was really interesting acting." And I'm like, I wasn't acting, I was in pain. They're like, "Well, what do you mean?" And I said, "I did this train thing for 2 weeks and my shins are killing me. I can barely walk." True story, that's the truth. And so it worked for the scene, it worked for the characters. There was a hesitancy, there was a hesitancy in my voice. And as I said, we shot those sequences in one day and it was like 2 takes each. I think there was a master shot and a close-up, and that was it.
So you auditioned for the role, and like you met Richard Donner for the audition. How was it to feel when you were offered the part of Clark Kent, especially as you auditioned for Jimmy Olsen?
Well, I went in there thinking that I was going to audition for Jimmy Olsen. And he said, And Donner in Lynn Stallmaster's office, he goes, I didn't bring you in for Jimmy Olsen. And I go, what do you mean? I said, well, what do you have me in for? He goes, I want you to look at the young Clark Kent, the young Superman. I'm like, oh, no. I'm not putting on that costume. No way, man. I'm not doing it.
I brought a camera and everything.
And Donner's laughing, and he goes, oh, you don't have to wear the costume. And I'm like, I'm not doing it, I'm telling you. And that's Perry White there. He's telling Lois Lane what to do now. Lose some weight, give me some copy. Anyway,
I'll put an image in or something, like, from the film, just when people walk past.
Perry White with his cell phone. But I decided, okay, I'll read the script. So he gave me the script.
Yeah.
I go in the other office and I read it. I come back out and I go, wow, this is a good role.
Yeah.
And they said, yeah. He goes, have you got a passport?
Yeah.
I said, do I have a passport? He goes, you're going to England tomorrow. I'm like, oh, no. He goes, oh, yeah. That's how I got the part.
Fantastic.
Did you ever hear?
Didn't even read. I didn't read.
Did you ever hear who else was up for the role of young Clark Kent? We know people who were in contention for Superman. Lex Luthor.
I don't think there was anyone else. He'd seen the hazing that Carol Littleton was editing for Doug Curtis, and he saw a piece of that and said, that guy is who I want for young Clark Kent. He just saw the film and I got offered the part right away.
And did you have a conception of what you would do with Jimmy Olsen, given that you went to the first?
I would have done Jimmy Olsen with no teeth. Because Perry White was constantly slugging him in the mouth.
Yeah.
And he's running into the door, no teeth. And they said, that won't work.
No. Then what Brando
I didn't have to say,
didn't he?
yeah,
On stage?
he wanted to play a bagel.
Or a suitcase. Great too.
No teeth, Jimmy. Mr. White.
See, Mark missed something in his characterization.
Mark is great, though.
Don't
Mark
worry,
had
Jimmy,
the
we'll
sense
save
of
up for your teeth.
right. Mark had the sense of humor, so he was great. He was
Did you end up
terrific.
in a band with him?
Yeah, we became real close.
What sort of music did you do?
We did just some ska and reggae, but mainly jazzy rock and roll. And we had a lot of fun. We opened for a lot of bands in Southern California that were famous. And they liked our
But you guys
band.
were famous. Do you know what I
They
mean?
liked our
Just off the
band
music.
better. Yeah. So we had a deal going with Columbia Records, and I didn't follow through on it. I ended up going and doing a movie called Jack London, Angie Dickinson, and Rod Steiger. I just got caught up in the acting thing and decided not to do the music.
What was the band called?
The Daily Planet.
No way.
Yeah. And then we get a call from
Yeah, I
Warner
was gonna
Brothers.
say.
You can't use that name. I don't care if you got teeth or not.
But in fairness, it wasn't movie, it was music.
So we
which is
call
different.
it the Planet, and then we changed it to the Switch Band because everybody switched instruments. And,
Yeah.
I sang bass and tenor, and we did all kinds of weird stuff. But it was fun. Mark and I were dear friends. That was Mark's first trip out of California. He was coming to London for the first time, and he was. It was really funny to see him act. He'd never been out of California, and he's in London, and all these things. And so we went around and hung out in London and did different things, taking the metro and all that. It was fun to see him, the way he reacted to it. I didn't care. I'd already been there a month, and it's like whatever. I got my old salty legs.
I'll show you the scenes, where to go.
I'll take care of you, mate.
The cafeteria for lunch.
Right.
Yeah.
The commissary. Oh, the private dining room.
Ah.
Oh, the private dining room at Shepperton. What a spirit.
You must have met Alexander Salkind at some point.
Yeah.
What was he like? Because he's not really written about very
Short.
much.
He was short.
Yeah. Personality-wise, what really?
Short. He smoked a lot. I got to know Ilya more, who I liked, and Pierre Spengler. And but Alexander was kind of a typical avant-garde executive producer type that didn't really talk to. He didn't talk to me that much. I don't think he understood me. I was too young or something. He was looking at Chris all the time, so it didn't matter. But Ilya, I got to be to know very well, for many reasons. He was my producer, and all the stuff, the PR that they wanted to do with the film, and things that we could talk about. And not talk about. They were very hands-on at that time, and they should be. But I knew there were certain things going on later on when I came back to shoot some of my final stuff with the Fortress of Solitude, and Donner had been violent, and I never quite understood why. And Richard Lester was directing the last sequences that they hadn't shot, and that was interesting, but it just didn't feel the same. It was different.
Put your finger on the difference between Lester and Donner as directors, even though Lester only had a limited exposure to him. He did direct a couple of shots.
I was excited to be able to work with both, because I really liked Help. I liked some of the stuff that he did with the Beatles. I'd seen some of his other work, so I really was interested in getting to know him. But it was not his film, and we all knew it, and he knew it. He was just there to tell people to walk through do this and do that, and that's it. It was Donner's film from the get-go to the end. Even after he got fired, it was still his film. Sorry he's gone.
So moving on to another actor who was obviously in the film, Glenn Ford.
Yes.
Playing Jonathan Kent. I mean, a very memorable death scene where, you know, he grabs his arm and he perishes then. I mean, it was very unique and very realistic. Did Glenn Ford discuss what, you know, potentially he would do for this scene or anything?
No, he was very private. But he let you know, you knew when you showed up on the set with him, that he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
And he made it easy for you, which is a good actor to do that. He'll bring you into his story. And his story was good, it was believable. And I just tried to kind of like ride along with what he was doing. And it helped me. And it made it more convincing, the scene, because basically it's what good actors do. They bring the others into their world. And it was amazing how simple it was. And I never realized that could happen. But I had not done that prior. I wasn't not mature enough. Did so many other things. And nothing ever happened to me like that.
Yeah.
And it was magical with Phyllis Thaxter as well. All she would have to do is open her mouth and say her lines, and all of a sudden I was there. And it just happened. And it's really hard to teach that to an actor, to another actor. But to embrace it and to be a part of it and understand it, it's a gift, truly. And Glenn was fantastic to work with, and so was Phyllis, both of them. I loved it.
Did you get to spend much time with them, or was they
very little.
Days?
They weren't there that long. And there were rumors that Glenn didn't get along with everybody, this thing with Phyllis, and he didn't want to ride in the same car with her, and blah, blah, blah. His actors being actors, and studio guys that had studio deals, playing a little games.
But they were big names attached to the film, though, weren't they? They got some pretty good cast members for that.
Yeah, they're amazing. It's an amazing cast. Superman. It's phenomenal. And of course, I got to spend a lot of time with Hackman, which I really liked, and I had known him before. He was doing Poseidon Adventure, and I was doing Tom Sawyer. And his son actually tested for Tom Sawyer to play Huck. And I ended up getting the role, so he came over to the set one day, introduced himself, and says, I want you to come over to Poseidon Adventure and watch me work with all these actors. I ended up working with all the actors that are in that movie later on, years later, which is weird, which is a treat.
He wasn't like, I only want a word with you. He took my son's part.
There's Ernie Borgnine. Hey, Ernie! No, it was cool.
Fantastic.
It was a fun childhood. Really fun.
On the set of Superman, you got to spend time with some actors that you didn't spend screen time with. So Hackman was one.
Hackman was one. Valerie, Terrence Stamp, Jack Broward, Margot Kidder. Margot flew over on the airplane with me. She was being tested. She hadn't even gotten the part. And I'm sending her little notes like, I know you're going to get it. I know you're going to be Lois Lane.
Is that with the peanuts?
Yeah,
Plane,
yeah, give her peanuts. She got all flustered. She goes, "Why are you flying in coach? You should be flying in first class." I wanted to save money.
But can you remember the dynamic of all those actors off set? You know, was there a joker
Whoa.
that, or was it tension?
I tell you, there was a little tension with Chris and Gene and Jack. They got into it. There was a lot of tension because people were tired. They were on the wires all the time. They're doing special effects that they'd never done before. You know, there was this cranky element, and the actors were human. And there were certain moments where, you know, we thought Gene was going to whack Chris in the mouth or whatever. It never happened. But you could tell there was some tension there. And funny thing about it, we were up in Canada, Larry Hagman and Valerie Prime, and they hijacked my Winnebago and decided to start drinking and doing a drinking game, and they wouldn't leave my Winnebago. They said, "We're not leaving. We're gonna have some fun." And Valerie and Larry just went crazy and just had a blast because they weren't working. They were out there visiting, and I'm working. I'm like, I've got to work. But they were fun. It was a fun group of people to work with.
Did you have a favourite?
Of the people I worked with?
Yeah.
Oh God, it's my favorite.
Who do you have the most time for?
Ooh, that's a good question. God damn, that's a tough question. My relationship with McClure was great because we became very close after that, and the band thing was really cool. I liked Valerie a lot. I really enjoyed her company. She was a free spirit. Diane Sherry was fun to work with. I have to say Hackman. Hackman was like a father figure to me and taught me things as an actor. You know, don't let this happen and don't let them say this to you. Just keep your head, look straight ahead and listen. And he was right. And so I really cherished the moments with him, even though we had no scenes together. I'm on set with him every day. And
Did you learn anything about the craft of acting from acting?
Oh yeah. Yep.
So as well as the
Lois. My Lois.
As well as the kind of practical business advice that you imparted, was there anything you picked up in terms of acting for the screen, although you were an experienced actor?
To have a lot of patience, taught me to listen. Acting is reacting, a lot of it, and I learned that just from watching his work. He didn't have to tell me anything. I would just watch him, and it was fascinating to watch a guy like that because you act like he's not doing anything. He's just rolling with the punches. And
was there any days when you went in and just kind of just to watch Hackman work?
But yeah, almost every day that I heard that he was working on the set, I'd go out and watch it. They were totally allowed me to do that too.
Oh wow!
It was fun to watch it. I wanted to see all the Luther's Lair stuff.
Yeah.
But I wasn't there. I'd already gone back to LA. But and Ned Beatty was fun to work with. I liked Ned.
Yeah.
But Ned's a real character. We became friends too. Man, there's some great people in that film. Yeah, the really fun thing with doing a film like this, I'd work a month, then I would go away. Then I would come back and shoot for another month. And every time I came back, I had a different friend on the movie. And I'm in makeup.
Yeah.
And I get back in October after working all summer in Canada and all this. Of course, everybody had seen the dailies. Well, all of a sudden, everybody's really friendly. And I thought, oh, that's weird. And Terrence Stamp strikes up a conversation with me like I'm one of the guys on the team. And I'm like, what? It's Terrence Stamp. And I'm like, hey, and he's talking to me about this and talking about that, and some of the experience he's had. Man, he's had some good ones. And, but Terrence he was very, very kind. and he's a kind person. And he was excited just to say, hey, I think what we're seeing is really good work, and it's fun to be a part of that. And I said, well, I'm glad you like it. I said, I'm having fun. I said, you guys are badasses, and I don't want to fool with you. But Valerie, Sarah Douglas and Jack O'Halloran, the three of them were in makeup with me every day for that last month, and we all became friends. So it was it was a weird experience that way. But I'm a young guy, and here's these three pros that been in every movie God ever made. And I thought, maybe I could just relax and just be myself and be part of the team. And I was. And that made me feel good. I knew I was welcome. There was a lot of crap about Lester, all the stuff with Donner, the big fight. And I just sort of ignored it. I just thought, I don't want to get involved with that. We all knew what the problem was. And we all knew it would work out in the end, which it did. The result was better than what we had thought. And I think that a lot of the people that were involved with the Donner problem regret. I think they regret it. I don't think they felt good about it. But it had to be done, I guess. But I know there are a lot of directors out there that acted a lot worse than he did. And they still stayed on. So, who knows? There was a lot of control issues going on there. I knew what the stuff with Chris and how he felt about what I was doing. I'm sure there were some issues there. They didn't want to talk too much about it. They wanted to make a movie called Superman, not Superman. That was in the very beginning they were talking that way. They didn't want to emphasize it too much. When the movie got released, Warner Brothers didn't want to do any PR. There was no invitation to the premiere. Nothing. I hitched a ride with Mark McClure.
Did he get invited?
Yeah. So he says, you coming with me? And so I went. They're like, what are you doing here?
Did you have a tux or how did you turn up? You just
went rented a tux that day. I found out I was going.
And they went like, no, your name's not known, you're not coming in.
Who are you?
Yeah.
It was really strange.
Do you remember your response to seeing the film in its entirety projected on the screen for the first time?
Well, the credits is what the first thing that really kind of blew me away. And then they started the whole Krypton thing. And I was going, wow, this is really interesting. And it went on, and there was the ship coming down to Earth. And on and on. And all of a sudden they get to the football sequence. And they're shooting, and you're seeing it. And I'm like, oh, it's just like I remember it. But it looks even better. And it just got better and better. And then all of a sudden, the dialogue between Diane Lane and I hear Christopher Reeve's voice, and I thought I was gonna throw up, and I was like, no way.
You didn't know until the screening was on.
And I was flabbergasted. I was like, oh. And actually, you know what? I take that back. I was informed of it. I didn't believe him. McClure, I thought he was pulling a joke. And I said, now I'm going to knock out all your teeth.
It's going to be even worse.
And he calls me from New York. He says, oh, Chris dubbed your voice. I'm like, what? Bullshit. And he did. Did a good job. And made me mad. And I thought, they didn't even ask me. I take that back. Mark McClure called me. I didn't believe him. When I got in there, I heard it, and I was like, oh, wow.
Do you think he was officially told to call you to tell you?
Maybe.
It's like,
I knew we were good friends.
Tell Jeff he's not, like, in it voice-wise.
Thanks a lot.
I told him he doesn't believe you, but, he knows.
We should have played Jimmy Olsen. Anyway, I got over it. Went to the wrap party. Wasn't happy. Hackman was unhappy that I showed up. He was unhappy they did that. Didn't say anything to me. Donner was sort of embarrassed. I think Donner and I got closer after that. I think he felt bad about it, and because I've heard the original version, and it was just because Chris wanted to do it.
With the original version.
And I thought, okay, and to this day I'm still reminded of it. And I thought, well, it's the only time in movie history that something like that has happened, except one. I think that was Mel Gibson in Gallipoli.
Is that right?
I believe so. I believe that's where.
We'll make it.
You know, that's Olsen's mom and dad.
You've got the whole cast.
Yeah, everyone's coming in. Everyone's coming. So only because you mentioned the football scene, but like as a kid, I was amazed by the special effects of Superman.
Yeah.
They were very much like, wow, how'd you do that? And it was the scene where you kick the football and
Yeah.
straight into the air, off it goes.
Well, they dug a cannon.
Yeah, I know. 'Cause
In the ground.
Prop Store had the ball that came up for auction, and it was just a piece of wood
Correct.
in the shape with a painted bit of
White.
white on
Right.
it, and they launched it with a cannon.
Right.
But it's kind of like when you were filming it and seeing some of these kind of like practical effects on, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. There was any time you thought, well, that's not going to work, and then you saw it on screen, we're just like, wow, that was
It
phenomenal.
was amazing editing.
Yeah,
That's great editing. Because we shot it in 3 sequences.
yeah,
We shot it with me actually kicking a football.
yeah,
Then they shot it with me not kicking a football,
yeah,
right? Then they had me not kicking a football and the cannon shoots the
yeah, yeah,
missile. I don't know how they edited that together, but it was brilliant.
yeah. But it's entirely believable.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's kind of.
I actually got a request to be part of the USC football team.
Did you?
Yes. They had shown that movie the night before the Rose Bowl.
Yeah,
Because the movie had just come out.
yeah,
And I had 2 friends that played for USC.
yeah, yeah.
And my friend Brad Buddy and Anthony Munoz, they were both in the audience, and they said that the coach says, "Who is that guy? We
Yeah.
need him on our team."
And we can vouch. You can totally kick the ball like that.
And my friend Brad Buddy goes, "That's my buddy. He's my friend. He's a movie star."
Oh,
True story.
But again, it's kind of like the where you're running alongside the train as well. I mean, to us, you were running alongside the train, but you
Yeah.
actually weren't, were you? You were kind of like suspended.
I was suspended by Air Force high tension wires, which
Yeah.
they suspended Chris on, and Margot, and all the other villains and stuff. Same rig, the same harness, and we practiced for 2 weeks
Yeah,
out at the Air Force Base there in Alberta, and it was on the airfield of me running to see if they could get me to not swing and stay in camera. And eventually we figured out where we shot it was, if they lowered me low enough that my toes would just barely touch
yeah.
the grass, I was able to keep
Oh wow.
in position. But it took them 2 weeks to figure that out.
So you're like,
I'm just going, woo, hey, whoa, there goes another thigh muscle. Oh.
young Clark just flies everywhere.
There goes my shins. Oh. And my manager's out there going, "Look, I'm gonna kill him. This is unbelievable." It was a dangerous stunt.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay." What do you mean you're gonna be okay? They're dragging you at 35 miles an hour.
Could be worse. Could be 45 miles. an hour.
Whatever. You're gonna get hit by the train. No.
But
But
to do that running motion at that speed,
It's hard to do.
Imagine, yeah.
It was hard to do. It took a lot of practice. And you know, Peter McDonald going, "We see the wires. We see the wires."
You're not running fast enough. Get those legs moving.
So they're out there spray painting the wires, blue, orange, yellow, whatever it takes, and they just couldn't cover the wires. So they ended up remastering it with Technicolor, and they covered the wires.
They smudged the lens.
And they smudged the lens.
It is
I was going to say,
literally
McDonald
the
did that.
So a bit of Vaseline.
Good photography.
That's an old trick, isn't it?
He's a good camera.
Whack a bit of Vaseline on it.
Peter is great. And we keep saying the wires. And he's tapping the lens on the camera. But then we go around and do the swing around. And this is the last shot of the whole sequence.
Yeah.
And I do with a swing around. We'd already done it backwards with the train going backwards and blah, 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 which is an old school special effect. It's cheating. This was the real runaround, the run turn. And I turn, and the camera car stops, and I kept swinging. And then I swung back, and I almost went right back into the train. And it was doing about 45 miles an hour.
Oh, wow.
And Gene Hackman's brother, Richard, caught me, grabbed me, and he saved my life, basically.
Oh, wow.
And I get off, this is no kidding. I get off the harness, I'm getting off, and I'm looking around. The crew is gone. Director, producers, photographers, no more. Gone.
We didn't see anything.
I'm like, where is everybody?
He was by himself when this happened.
See ya. Did you kill him yet? Nope.
Oh, brilliant.
I remember reading, going back a bit, that you conceived your portrayal with the sequel in mind, because obviously Superman Clark Kent has this long-range character arc where he undergoes a kind of identity crisis in the sequel.
Yes.
Questions who he is.
Yes.
And you were trying to compare that in the first film, a little hinted or foreshadowing.
Right. Yeah, it was talked about.
That's quite
And
complicated to plot that out.
yes. And I couldn't figure out what they wanted to do to show that. I think it had a little bit to do with Glenn Ford's death. He didn't know what to do with that power. He couldn't save his father. He couldn't show his powers without being found out. He had a lot of dilemmas. I think the main thrust was the loss of a father or a loved one, and you have superpowers. And I don't think he ever got over that. I think that's one of Clark Kent's biggest, in my opinion, that's how I felt. And in Superman 2, there's a little bit of that. I haven't seen the film in such a long time. But,
I think you're saying like the seriousness and sort of introspection that you brought to it was a way of suggesting a kind of unsettled spirit that
yes,
comes to fruition in the sequel.
correct. Because the same thing happened with Lois Lane, right, in the first one. And of course, the second one that deals with the same issue, and it keeps coming up in his life. So I think there was a lot of preparation with that. And I think Chris saw that too, when he read the script and realized what he was doing. And I think
I was going to ask if you guys were all just favorite.
and
I imagine it would have to be something you sort of charted out between you, Chrissy, and Don. Just sort of because it's a long development.
well, I got to try and think about it if I can remember that.
So it's intended like flashbacks between, in each of the films there would be a flashback.
Well, okay.
to the
Donner
character.
would always remind you of where you were in the past, which is an acting technique, and would always say, "Now you're here." And you'd hear Donner in the background. If they showed footage of the film being made, you hear Donner throughout the whole film, talking to everybody. No, honestly. And he talked me through almost every scene. And especially when doing Fortress of Solitude and that kind of stuff. So there was a lot going on because I'm listening to him. So I'm thinking. I'm not just looking and staring out in space. I'm actually thinking. There's a story in my mind. And that's what they try to teach actors to do is you have to reveal the story through your eyes. And so I thought, okay, this is a great way to do it. That's why I love working with Donner. He's a great director. And it just worked out. And what more iconic of a character, but what would Superman think about? I wouldn't know. I'm a human. So that's the kind of stuff that Donner was going through. And that's more Donner stuff. Not mine. I was just an actor along for the ride. But I wanted it to be good. I wanted it to be believable. That's my main concern, is it believable?
Did you prefer working with Donner? I mean, how was it like working with Richard Lester?
I like working with Richard Lester.
Yeah.
But I felt uncomfortable because he wasn't my boss. He wasn't my director.
Yeah.
He was a new face in the crowd of somebody I respected.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it wasn't the same thing.
Right.
Everybody felt
Yeah.
that way.
Well, I guess like it was Richard. Now he's gone, and suddenly
Yeah, it's another
someone
Richard.
else has gone. Hello.
Richard too.
Yeah.
Richard too. But here's a respected director too,
Yeah,
which really
yeah.
bugged me. It bugged me. But I only spent like 1-2 days with him.
Yeah.
I spent the majority of my time with Donner.
Some of the other cast members said that Donner they appreciate it because he was an actor's director. It's
Yeah,
to your point, that he cared
absolutely.
about performance, and they said Lester wasn't so much. He was
No, more
minded.
technical. And the stuff that I did with him was technical. They brought the train in closer with me jumping in front of it. And I threw the crystal to create the fortunes of salt. The only two things I did with Lester. Well, yeah. Throw the green crystal, Jeff.
Was that long in Madonna cut in terms of throwing?
That was all Lester's footage.
But it was his idea for that to happen.
It was written that way.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it was the same. The set was that way.
Yeah.
It was, the set was different. And it's the exterior. I just showed up to do that shot. But as far as Dono say anything about it, I don't think he had any input. Not to my knowledge.
Do you remember if there are any alternative costumes for young Clark Kent that were kind of experimented with and discarded? Or was it?
No, there was more for the baby Superman and the young Superman. They shoot up sequences of young Superman from the baby to, and they never used any of that stuff. But as far as me, Clark, no.
Wasn't it a couple of Aaron's brothers who were involved as
Yeah,
well? And
yeah, they did do that.
Yeah, there was publicity still.
it's a shame, really. I mean, I'd like to see the footage, just for the continuity of it. Just to, I've seen it all.
Wow, it's interesting. It feels like we just went back to England.
It literally does feel
Bloody
like
crazy down
it
here.
might rain again.
With the flies. Not the flies.
We give you everything over here. Do you know what I mean?
It's amazing. I don't know how you guys do it.
The food wasn't bad though either, though. In fairness, wasn't it? So.
Should we ask the last one? Have we got?
Yeah, I mean, if that's cool. Yeah.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a doozy, right?
Yeah. Well, for us, it is. I mean, yeah. I have trouble remembering stuff I did 2 weeks ago. We're asking you to remember stuff
I'm like,
40
wow,
years ago.
where's this coming from?
Got it all there, still
Man.
there.
Them cells are kicked up again.
You're going to remember that you lent something to somebody 40 years ago and you never got it back.
Hope it wasn't gonorrhea.
Cut. So I was wondering how your feelings about Superman movie have evolved over the years. Have they fluctuated? Were there times when you didn't really want to talk about Superman too much, or
No.
have you always been pretty
Yeah, that's a
stable?
good question. I got to tell you, every time I see it on TV, I have to watch it again. I can't believe I'm actually in it. That's my feeling.
It's the best compliment you can give it.
And I'm like, damn.
It is a classic, though. That's it, isn't it? It's kind
I
of
thought,
it's
wow.
one of those few films. Nowadays, films are disposable. I think they
It
come
just
out,
makes
you watch
me-
it,
yeah.
and that's it. It's done.
Those sequences, the stuff they shot in that, it takes you away if you watch the film.
Yeah.
You really get wrapped up in it. And I can't stop watching it. And to this day, it's the same. I probably see it 300 times.
Margot said it was like Wizard of Oz. It's that kind of,
It's
that
repeat.
Kind of status in
It's a repeat.
film history.
Absolutely. Good point.
Thank you so much for this.
My
Jeff.
pleasure,
Really
gentlemen.
appreciate it.
Thank
Great
you
to
very
see
much.
Honestly, the
Thank you.
pleasure was definitely ours. I mean, thank you for
Don't go anywhere
agreeing for this.
without getting your teeth put in.
Oh dear.
Thank you, guys.